The moment you step into any room, before a single word leaves your lips, the world has already begun writing its story about you. Every interaction triggers an invisible judgment within seconds. People notice your stance, your voice, and how you react under pressure. These fragments determine whether you're dismissed, tolerated, or truly seen. Your daily actions paint the portrait others perceive, and more critically, they shape the reflection you see in your own mirror. Most people wait for confidence to arrive like morning light, but true strength is forged through deliberate choices, not fortunate accidents. Each sunrise offers a crossroad. Will you let circumstances sculpt you, or will you seize control? Holding someone's gaze, speaking with measured authority, carrying yourself with quiet gravity, these modest practices can transform how life responds to you. Strength is not discovered, it is constructed, choice by choice. When someone speaks, do you meet their eyes or let your attention wander? Eye contact is a wordless declaration of presence. To avert your gaze is to signal uncertainty. To hold it is to silently declare that you belong exactly where you stand. Many look away not because they lack something to say, but because being fully visible feels vulnerable. Yet it's within that vulnerability that confidence begins to crystallize. The Stoics understood that strength doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, it comes from walking directly into it. That flutter in your chest when you hold someone's gaze isn't weakness, it's the signal that you're entering the territory where real change happens. Recall the last time someone met your eyes with unwavering steadiness. You felt truly heard. Now consider the opposite. Speaking to someone whose eyes darted away. You felt dismissed. The difference wasn't in the words, but in the presence conveyed. Eye contact reveals not only how you view others, but how you view yourself. To develop this habit, start small. Hold eye contact a few seconds longer than usual. Each repetition strengthens the muscle of presence. Over time, you'll notice you no longer shrink back or question whether you belong. You walk into rooms with quiet certainty. The same nerves that prevent you from holding eye contact are the ones that silence your voice. How many times have you swallowed an opinion because silence felt safer? Each silence chips away at you. You reinforce the belief that your voice doesn't matter. But when you speak, even if your voice trembles, you reclaim something powerful. You remind yourself that your words have weight. Speaking your truth is the dare you owe yourself. People may not always agree, but they notice when you stand by your beliefs. Over time, that willingness builds respect. You stop being someone who merely follows and become someone who contributes and leads. Confidence isn't aggression. The goal isn't to win arguments, but to exist truthfully in the space you occupy. When you speak with calm steadiness, you embody freedom. You're no longer chained to the fear of rejection. Many wait for perfect words before speaking. But confidence doesn't come from perfection, it comes from authenticity. People don't remember exact sentences, they remember the conviction behind them. The discomfort before speaking isn't a warning to stop. It's proof you're on the edge of growth. Speak anyway. Each time you choose expression over silence, you declare, "My voice matters, and I will not hide." Think about the people you admire. They rarely wait to be noticed, they take the first step. A simple greeting carries more weight than most realize. By greeting first, you set the tone. You communicate that you're comfortable being seen. Most people hesitate, waiting for someone else to acknowledge them. This passivity signals uncertainty. When you take initiative, you flip the script. You tell the world, "I am here to engage." The beauty of greeting first is that it requires no grand gesture. A warm, steady greeting can shift an entire interaction. It opens the door for connection. People remember how you made them feel. In workplaces, greeting colleagues first transforms dynamics. You become remembered as approachable and present. In personal relationships, initiating greetings fosters closeness. Even with strangers, a greeting changes indifference into shared humanity. There's subtle leadership in greeting first. The person who takes initiative in small ways is often seen as someone who can take initiative in larger ones. Leadership isn't always about crisis decisions. Sometimes it's about showing up consistently. You can say the right thing in the wrong tone and lose all respect. People don't just listen to your words, they listen to how those words arrive. Your tone carries the weight of your confidence or exposes the cracks of your uncertainty. Tone is supported by posture, breathing, and presence. The ability to control your tone begins with awareness. Most people have never truly listened to themselves. If you recorded yourself, you might be surprised at the contrast between what you think you sound like and what others actually hear. That gap is where respect is lost or gained. A calm, steady tone tells others you are in control. When tension rises, the person who keeps their tone composed becomes the anchor. People instinctively lean toward stability. The voice follows the breath. When anxious, your breathing becomes shallow and words rush forward. When you slow your breathing, your voice deepens and steadies. A few steady breaths before speaking can shift your entire tone. Volume tells its own story. Speak too softly and you seem uncertain. Speak too loudly and you seem desperate for authority. The balance is clear, audible, and unhurried. Pace matters too. A pause used with intention gives words gravity. It allows your listener to absorb meaning. True confidence is measured not in calm moments, but in how you handle emotional intensity. The one who keeps a steady tone when the room heats up commands more respect than the one who shouts. Restless movements betray restless thoughts. Fidgeting broadcasts nervous energy louder than any word. Standing still when you speak changes everything. It anchors the room. It brings a quiet authority that makes people lean in. Stillness is magnetic. It communicates control without declaring it. True control is revealed in daily discomforts, the tense meeting, the difficult conversation. If you can remain still, you communicate, "I am here," and "I am unshaken." This doesn't mean becoming rigid. True stillness is about grounding, feet planted, shoulders relaxed, arms resting until needed. From this place, deliberate movement amplifies your words. The body becomes an ally rather than a saboteur. Stillness also calms the mind. A grounded posture sends signals of stability to your nervous system. Stillness outside creates stillness inside. This is why stillness is more than a communication technique. It's a discipline of presence. Every time you skip a difficult task, you reinforce the belief that you're not ready. Avoidance whispers, "I can't handle this." And when you listen long enough, it becomes your identity. But something changes when you face what you've been avoiding. Each act of courage sends the opposite message. "I may feel nervous, but I can handle this." Over time, these declarations build a new identity. You stop seeing yourself as fragile and begin seeing yourself as capable. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite it. When you face what you've avoided, fear begins to lose its grip. The first attempt feels overwhelming. The second feels lighter. By the 10th, you wonder why you were ever afraid. This doesn't mean tackling everything at once. Start small. Prove to yourself you can finish something. Then move to something larger. The strength grows over time. What feels overwhelming today becomes routine tomorrow. Facing what you avoid also builds resilience. Life will bring unexpected challenges. If you've built the habit of confronting discomfort daily, you'll be ready for larger storms. Avoidance removes friction, but also removes growth. Facing discomfort polishes you into someone stronger, sharper, more resilient. Speaking slower forces your words to land. It takes what might rush past unnoticed and gives it weight. When you slow down, you tell the listener, "This matters." There's authority in taking your time. Speed betrays nerves. Slow, steady pacing reveals composure. Think of great speakers. They didn't bombard you with rapid sentences. They spoke at a pace that made you lean in. Silence between words isn't emptiness, it's presence. Speaking slower also keeps you calm. When you slow your pace, your breathing steadies, your voice deepens, your body relaxes. People sense the steadiness and mirror it. Slow words also protect against miscommunication. How often do arguments flare not from what was said, but how quickly it was thrown out? Words fired too fast sound harsher than intended. Slowing down lets you align intention with delivery. In a world addicted to speed, slowing down is a form of strength. When you learn to wield it, you carry a presence people cannot ignore. Most people listen only to reply. They wait for their turn, forming responses before the other person has finished. This creates shallow exchanges. But when you ask a thoughtful question, something changes. A door opens. A good question isn't just about gathering information, it's about creating connection. It shows you were present enough to care. Thoughtful questions signal respect. They tell the other person, "I'm actually here with you." This kind of presence is rare, and because it's rare, it's powerful. Asking what's been on your mind lately, or what's challenging you, turns routine conversation into something deeper. These questions show investment without pressure. In professional settings, asking better questions sets you apart. Instead of nodding through a challenge, ask, "What would make this easier?" That shifts focus from problem to solution. Leaders who ask good questions build stronger teams. In personal relationships, the impact is even greater. Asking your partner what's something you've wanted to talk about opens doors to honesty. These questions communicate, "You matter enough for me to understand you fully." At some point, someone will question your ability. In that moment, your instinct might be to shrink or to lash out. Neither builds real confidence. True strength shows itself in calm persistence. It proves itself through steady action, repeated until critics have nothing left to say. Doubt from others stings because it touches a nerve, the fear that maybe they're right. But this is where identity is shaped. If you let doubt dictate your choices, you live smaller. If you hold your ground, you grow stronger. People often doubt what they don't understand. Their doubt reflects their perspective, not your ability. Your task is to continue proving truth through action. Consistency, day after day. You silence the room not by demanding belief, but by making denial impossible. There are moments when a room falls silent, eyes shifting, everyone waiting for someone else to move first. Leadership begins here, not in grand speeches, but in the decision to step forward when others remain still. Hesitation has gravity. When no one acts, inaction grows heavier. The one who breaks the silence often becomes the natural leader, not because they had the perfect plan, but because they had the courage to move before certainty arrived. True leadership isn't about always having answers. It's about willingness to start, to risk being wrong, to carry the group into action. When you consistently lead in moments of hesitation, you become an anchor. People gravitate to those who make them feel safer in uncertainty. The way you enter a room matters more than most realize. Before you say a word, impressions form. If you slump and drag your feet, you send hesitation. If you walk with upright posture and quiet assurance, people notice. Presence doesn't begin when you speak, it begins with how you step into the space. When you walk with intention, you align inner world with outer expression. You don't stumble in, you arrive. Think how differently you feel when you move with awareness. On days you shuffle, confidence feels distant. When you walk upright, your energy shifts. You feel more capable, more engaged. The body influences the mind as much as the mind influences the body. The way you walk is the way you live. Every step carries a message. You cannot always control circumstances, but you can control how you enter. That choice, repeated daily, shapes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill every pause. But silence, when owned, becomes magnetic. A pause before speaking amplifies your words. A pause after a question creates room for honesty. Silence is the frame around everything you say. When you can sit with it comfortably, people sense composure. And in a world that rarely slows down, composure is unforgettable. Great speakers draw power not only from words but from the spaces between them. They pause before key points, building anticipation. They let silence linger, forcing reflection. Those moments feel charged. Silence turns speech into music. Even in disagreement, silence is powerful. When challenged, the instinct is to defend instantly. But if you pause deliberately, you show you're not rattled. The silence itself becomes a statement of confidence. Silence also reshapes how you see yourself. When you realize you can sit in quiet without fear, you begin to trust yourself more. Self-respect deepens because you know you can rely on your presence, not just your performance. Clothes don't create character, but they broadcast it. Before you speak, your appearance has already spoken. People notice if you look careless or composed. Dressing with intention isn't vanity, it's strategy. It signals self-respect. This doesn't mean extravagance. Intention is alignment, choosing clothes that reflect the version of yourself you want to project. What you wear changes how you feel. When you dress with care, your posture shifts. You stand taller, feel more deliberate. The habit of care in appearance builds the habit of care in action. You begin to treat each moment as worth showing up for. This discipline accumulates, shaping how others see you and how you see yourself. The world is chaotic. Every day brings noise and urgency. Most people are swept along, reacting impulsively. But some remain steady. Calm energy is rare, and because it's rare, it's magnetic. Calm is not weakness, it is control. To project calm is to show you're not ruled by circumstances, but by choice. When the storm rages, you refuse to let it dictate how you stand. Calm energy doesn't appear by accident. It's built through consistent habits, deliberate breathing, pausing before responding, starting the day with reflection. Calm energy feels safe. People trust those who don't lose control easily. Calm energy also reshapes your relationship with yourself. You stop feeling like a victim of chaos. You trust that you won't collapse into panic. This self-trust is the deepest source of confidence. Confidence isn't built in one moment of bravery. It's built in the quiet, consistent rhythm of repetition. Every time you hold eye contact, greet first, slow your speech, confront what you avoid, you're laying a brick. One brick means little. 1,000 bricks form a foundation strong enough to carry a new identity. Repetition doesn't create only habits, it creates the person you become. You may not feel a dramatic shift after one small act, but over time, these repetitions stack. Suddenly, you realize you're no longer afraid to speak. You no longer shrink back. You carry confidence without needing to announce it. Confidence built through repetition is durable. It doesn't shatter at criticism. It doesn't vanish when no one's watching. It holds steady because it's rooted in countless small victories no one saw, but you lived. Confidence is the echo of countless small choices made daily. If this message resonated with you, continue the journey. Keep building the strength no one can take from you. Thank you for being part of Mind Forge. Your growth, your presence, and your resilience matter here.